Hey everyone, welcome to this full moon Sidereal Astrology forecast for the full moon on Sunday, January 5th, 2023. All right, so we have a full moon right in between the constellation of Cancer the Crab and Leo the Lion. If you're expecting me to say some different constellations there, definitely check out the link down below for more information. We are using the visible sky on this channel called True Sidereal Astrology, and it does change the signs from mainstream astrology. But yeah, full moon, a time of illumination, the halfway point of the lunar cycle, and also the most heightened energy of the lunar cycle. So as we do approach Sunday, it is good to see that momentum building and perhaps some shifts of insight, shifts of perspective around Sunday that we could be implementing for not only the next 2 weeks of the lunar cycle, but also the next 6 months if you look at it from a solar year perspective. So Cancer is all about connecting more to our protective side, our past, our emotions, our feelings, our personal life. But it's going to be mostly in Leo. It is closer to that constellation, and that's the sign after. So the moon will be transiting into there the following days. And so mostly on the Leo self-expression side of things. And I think it is good to do a status check with that. How is that self-expressive side of ourselves? How are the things in our life that give us passion, creativity, love, that sort of vital life force energy that Leo represents, and implementing that moving forward. So with this full moon, it is going to be opposite up to Saturn, and we do have the sun in Capricorn from this opposition. So there's this grounded element. I think it's still good to be focused on responsibilities, and now incorporating a little bit of that creative or expressive energy into that is fantastic. The full moon is going to be squaring Uranus, so there could be some erratic energy to integrate constructively. There's a trine up to Jupiter, so there's inspiration coming in, and a sextile up to Mars, maybe a bit of an opening for some of that assertiveness with now Mars gaining his momentum moving forward. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the chart for the full moon. The full moon will be on Sunday, January 5th, 2023. And the exact time will be around 12:45 Eastern time of the Americas. Now that time can change a lot because we are using topocentric, which is the surface of the Earth. And also, of course, there's time zone changes. But for all intents and purposes, it is going to be the days surrounding Sunday here. And as you can see, we are using the visible sky, which includes the uneven constellations as you would see them visibly. Leo, for example, is a much larger constellation in the sky versus Cancer, which is much smaller here. So we are taking that into account, and so the signs do change, the placements change. And so if you are new to this channel, and especially if you notice some of these placements are different, like the sun in Capricorn right now, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so full moon is the status check. It's the time of awareness and an illumination of perspective. And in this case, it's going to be a little bit of that protective Cancer energy. How can we cultivate more of a connection to our feelings, our past, what's important to us emotionally and personally, and perhaps how are those aspects of ourselves going? How is our protective side? Our nurturing and caring side? Are we doing that for ourselves and others? And so it's a good time of connecting to that inner world there. But it's mostly going to be in the context of Leo. As you can see, the moon is going to be closer to that constellation. And it is the constellation after, which is where the integration is after the full moon. So status check on how is that self-expression. Leo the Lion is all about connecting to our hearts, doing the things that we're passionate about, that we love in life, that give us a sense of inspiration, joy, passion, right? And of course, as a result of that, expressing ourselves. So this can manifest through hobbies, interests, can manifest through just having some fun, some of that playful energy coming through in our life, entertainment, creative projects, speaking, educating, anything that we love, and connecting to the people that we love in life as well. So great time to do a status check with that. How is that going, and how are these qualities of ourselves going? How is our expressiveness? How is our heart connectedness and our playfulness and creativeness? So good to see how that side of life is going for us, and how we can perhaps through this shift of awareness and this illumination that the full moon will give us, we can incorporate this moving forward for both the next 2 weeks and really the next 6 months, as this is closing out what we could say is the solar cycle of Cancer and Leo, which was the energy that started about 6 months ago. All right, so yeah, great to do status check, great to have that insight and awareness, which then can be implemented. It's usually an important time of making shifts and pivots along the life journey, and in this case for the lunar month. Now, of course, it's always important to stay grounded with full moons because there is that opposite constellation that needs to be balanced with it. And so in this particular part of Leo is Capricorn, and Capricorn is all about being grounded and disciplined, right? Where Leo is all about just what inspires us, what is fun and creative. Capricorn is what's serious, what's grounded, what can be productive and used with responsibility. And so it's good to balance that out with that, as it is the time of the year to be focused on responsibility, things that require discipline, and a lot of that long-term view of things. And it is going to be opposite Saturn, who is transitioning into Aquarius now here in February. And so this is really an important next couple months in the sense that Saturn is starting a 2-year transit of Aquarius. And Saturn is that disciplined side, and Aquarius in this case is all the stuff that is innovative in society, such as technology, anything that requires a bit of that thinking outside the box, innovativeness, also communities as well, anything that is about connecting to things larger than ourselves, such as groups or collective matters. And so there's going to be more of that responsibility going into innovating in our lives and collectively, and also connecting to community in our life and likely also collectively as well. So there is that shift taking place with the opposition, and so perhaps noticing that it is good to start to incorporate some of that innovativeness, this sort of experimenting, getting outside of our comfort zone with things and stretching a little bit and really being open to change, as it will be a very important time of change for the next 2 years with Saturn here. So great for this illumination of how we can balance out that self-expression with that responsibility of both Capricorn and Saturn. Now, this full moon is forming a square with Uranus, and Uranus has been in Aries for the past 4 years roughly, and so it has been good to really spark that individual self-expression, the uniqueness of it, much like Aquarius. And so there could be a bit of a challenge to do this. There might be maybe a bit of resistance to break free, or feeling bottlenecked, maybe feeling like we need to make some changes in our life or really challenge things or challenge our status quo, as the squares do tend towards over and under emphasis of the energy and imbalance with the energy. But it can be used constructively. So anything that is about intentional change, intentional freedom in our life, intentional innovation, can be great. And so listening to that true self that is wanting to break free, is wanting change, is wanting freedom in our lives, and incorporating that constructively is going to be a great way of working with this full moon as well. There's a trine up to Jupiter, so it's nice to see that Jupiter is in harmony here to the sun and moon. And in this case, there could be some inspirations, feeling inspired, maybe seeing opportunities or potentials. In Pisces, it could be some things that might be our dreams or ideals. And of course, it's always good for Jupiter and Pisces to learn more about ourselves spiritually. Learn about our souls more. What is important to our souls? And what can we incorporate in our life that is more spiritually meaningful? And so there's definitely a support for that as well. Bit of inspiration, hopefulness, possibilities, and perhaps a little bit of peace of knowing that we are in alignment to all of that, and being willing to go with the flow a little bit can be easier to do with Jupiter in good harmony to this. All right, so those are definitely the most important aspects. There is a sextile up to Mars, who is, of course, trining the sun with this. So there is a nice supportive energy with that drive and action, and we should be noticing a lot of this energy moving forward now, since we've had a lot of retrogrades the later part of last year, but now all the planets are moving forward. We had Mars go direct mid-month last January, and Mercury went direct after his retrograde, and Uranus recently went direct on the 22nd. So all the planets, the major planets, are moving forward. And so there is should be that forward movement in your life. And so with Mars, noticing that it is supportive. And so things that require action, initiative, proactivity, goals, our needs, can be supportive and moving forward. Of course, maintaining the groundedness of Taurus where Mars is, that was the big lesson, that really second part of last year. That's important too, of course, take things one step at a time, stop and smell the roses, be grounded in that approach. But nonetheless, moving things forward is very supportive here. So really a mixed energy. I think it's really this mix between what you could call like the kind of yang and yin, or fire and, an earth kind of energy. So great to do a status check with, in some sense, the yang. How is that self-expression, passion, love in our life? Bit of the yin with what's important to us emotionally, of course, with that Cancer. But balancing all that fire energy of self-expression with yin of being patient and responsible and thinking long-term with the sun in Capricorn and the moon opposite Saturn. Balancing some of the yang with erratic energy, listening to our true self in constructive ways is great. We have a support with some more yang with at least Jupiter here, with opportunities, potentials, inspirations, and yang as well, an opening for some of that initiative and action. So mixed energy, certainly, but could be a very constructive full moon. The challenging elements might be coming from the Capricorn and Saturn, how to be long-term and intentional with the long-term stuff, and how to be grounded with some of that freedom and integration of change that the square to Uranus is prompting us to do. But fundamentally, a status check on that self-expression. What is close to our hearts? How can we express ourselves and incorporate some of this energy moving forward now along the life path? All right, so everyone have a fantastic full moon. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, there's a free newsletter to sign up for that down below. We did just release an article on Saturn entering Aquarius, so you can check that out. I'll put a link for that for everybody down below for this one. But do sign up if you haven't yet. It is absolutely free, and you do get extra content not normally released on YouTube. But yeah, have a great one, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.